Now we want to look at the functions, and as it is written here, functions will give you the ability to do a variety of things, like performing of mathematical operations, look up the values in a certain given data, even calculate dates and lines and times. Let's try a few ways to add up some values with the sum function. So functions are things that will help you to automate your data. Now, under these functions, a function takes more than one parameter, and a function takes more than one argument. So a composite function takes more than one argument, but a basic function takes just one argument. Now we have a cell, and a cell is an intersection between a row and a column. And when we have 2 or 3 cells together, we call them a range. So when we are dealing with functions, you are trying to make sure that your data is automated in a way that it can help you to make sure that your values are taken into consideration. Now, sum, product, quotient, minimum, mean, max, all these are examples of functions. Now, when you take a function like sum, it will take the first thing, you'll use the equal signs, then sum itself, then you must have brackets, then it takes the first number 1, then it can take another number, maybe number 2, number 3, number 4, which number 1 stands for the cell 1, and 2, cell 2, cell 3, and henceforth. And again, you can use the sum to look for a certain range. Now for here, we have a range of D3 to D6. So this is a range of data. When you close the brackets and click enter, you will have the sum of all those things. So we can do the same with the product, we can do the same with the quotient, we can do the same with the minimum, and as well we can do the same with the maximum. Also, we have an automated way to get the sum. When you navigate to the formulas bar here, then you will get all the functions that are under watch here. So we have, this is a function library. It has so many functions. When you come to AutoSum, you will see that when you click on the cell that you want to get the sum, for example, this cell here, then I want to get the sum of, I go to AutoSum, then sum, then I click on the cell that I want them to be summed. Then I select that range, then I click enter, it will give me the sum automatically. The same way as you do to the average, the count numbers, and we have so many functions that you can assist you in doing on your daily basis. So that is the sum. And we also have the average. All the functions take the same format. All the functions take the same format in a way that a function has an equal sign, then the function name, then the first argument is almost always required, and then additional arguments which are separated by commas. When you are dealing with sum, then you have those arguments following that sequence, and when you are dealing with the product, the same way it deals with that sequence, and all other functions in Excel. Now we have functions that does not take arguments. We only have one function that does not take an argument, and that function is when you are dealing with, you want to know the day to day. When you write today and open and close the bracket, then you click enter, it will definitely give you the today's date, and that today is written today. Then you click enter, it will automatically give you the today's date. Now today does not take any argument, so it is a different function. Even when you want to know what's the time now, it does also not take an argument. It will give you the day to day and the time at that particular time. So that is the functions. Average is the same way. You can do the average of the parameters. Average is also another function. Use the average function to get the average of the numbers in a range of cells. Together with the average, you have the median. The median. We have the mode. Sorry, we have the median. We have the mode. And we have the average. These are mostly used in statistical analysis. Mode is the most common, and median is the middle one. So these are also other functions. So when you want to write this function, you start with the equal signs, then median, then the median, then open brackets, then you take the range of the cells that you want to find the median, then close the bracket, and you get the median. Same to mode, same to average. Just select a range of cells. Okay. Minimum and maximum is another function that we have talked about. When you write minimum followed by the argument, then it will give you the minimum number in that range of data. And when you write the maximum, it will also give you the maximum number in that range of data. So we use the minimum function to get the smallest number in a range of cells, and we also use the maximum function to get the largest number in a range of cells. So they come hand in hand, and they are very effective when you're doing statistical analysis. Date and time, we have talked about date and time. When you want to find the day to day, these are the function that does not take an argument. You just write is equals to day, then you close the bracket. It will give you the day to day. You can use date function and today function with in line with other functions so that you can calculate more data. For example, when you want to calculate the number of hours someone has worked, use the date and time functions together with other functions such as the operators, the sum, the quotient, the product, and every other parameter that we use when we are dealing with date and time. So date and time is very handy, and it will help you to calculate maybe the number of hours someone has worked, the number of hours someone has done a job, and it will really help you in doing so. So it has several functions here. When you write the date, for example, date, then you open and close the bracket. So you have to keep the year, then the month, then the day. Let's see if it's working out or it still needs more arguments. Okay, seems that you need more arguments. There's no problem. Okay, fine. There's a problem with it. We will fix it later. Don't worry. So these are functions that will help you to locate time, date, and time. So we'll elaborate more when you get into making macros and more functions. Now, another here is when we are joining texts from different cells. So maybe you have a text from one cell and the other, and you want to combine them to appear in one cell. You have to combine the two. Now, you combine the text from one cell to, for example, now let's take this Jan quarters. We want to combine this Jan and quarters to appear here. So what we'll do, we use the equal signs, then the first cell we select, then we use an ampersand sign, that is shift and 7. It will give you an ampersand, and then we put together with that. When we press enter, it will give us the combined words. But as you see here, these words are not correctly formatted because it becomes one word without any separation. So when we add a separation, we just say is equals to, and then we take that argument again, or that data, we put an ampersand, then we put quotation marks, a comma, or if you want it to be a comma, then space, quotation marks again, you put an ampersand again, and then you put that cell that you want again to combine. Then you click enter. See, it will give you different data, right? if you don't want it to be like that, you can still say is equals to, then that cell that you want, then an ampersand, then quotation marks, space, quotation marks, then an ampersand again, then the last cell that you want it to appear, then it gives you a space. So you can also combine text from different rows. For example, now I want someone called Nancy Kenya. So we use this cell and we combine with an ampersand from this cell, Nancy Kenya. Then you click enter, it will give us Nancy and Kenya, Nancy and Kenya, right? So you can combine data from different points from different cells. Okay, so that is now joining text from different cells. So you can join them, you can join them using text and numbers together. You can join text and numbers, of which it is no problem. You can join them using the date and time. So all of them just uses an ampersand, and an ampersand is a very nice tool that will help you organize your data and presentation of your data in a well stipulated moment. Now, text. Now we will use the ampersand to join text and numbers, not just text and text. Look at cells C28 and C29. So C28 and C29. So C28 is this and C29 is this. See how the date and time are in separate cells, right? You can join them together with the ampersand symbol, like you will see in cell C32 and C33, C32 and C33, right? Okay. Now, but that doesn't look right, does it? No. Unfortunately, Excel doesn't know how you want to format the numbers, so it breaks them down to their bestest format. So when you see in cell C36 enters this one, so we are combining this one in this cell. Yeah, so you can just combine text and data at the same time. Okay. So that is how to join. Now, there is also an if statement. We can use an if statement to look for data. If statement allows you to make logical comparison between conditions. An if statement generally says that if one condition is true, do something, otherwise do something else. The formulas can return text values or even more calculations. In cell D9, we enter this. Now, here, we are determining if this cell C9 has the word apple, then it returns true. If it doesn't have the word apple, it returns false. Now, this is the formula. If cell C9 has the apples, then return true, else return false. Now, let's see. It has apples, it has returned true. Now, let's put a dragon fruit. Let's just put the word dragon and see if the statement will be true. Now you see it has returned the false here, because what is here is not what? Apple. Now if I return apple, it will return true, because the statement said if it is apple, then true stroke false. Now, if has a logical test, and that logical test makes sure that the cell that you are talking about contains the parameter that is calculated upon the return value. If the test is passed, then the value that returned is true, and if the test fails, then the return value is false. Now, let's see here. Let's say that let's write here, if C10 has the word orange, then we return, let's return the value, let's return the word eat now. Eat now, right? But if it is it doesn't contain oranges, then we say plant now. Plant now. Now, if C10 has oranges, we eat now. If not, then we plant. Let's see. You see, it's saying eat now because we have oranges. Now, let's try and put a mango here. Let's try to put a mango here and see what it will tell us. Plant now, because this one doesn't have oranges, right? So you can use all the parameters. You can even say if C10 has the oranges, then you return the value. Let's say you return the value cash 100. If it has oranges, you return 1000. Let's say here you return cash 1000. If it is oranges, you return 1000. If it is not oranges, you return. Let me just put a difference of 200, and see, it's a mango. It returns 200. But if it is an orange, it returns what? It should return 1000. Wow. Okay. Let me see. Yes, if it's an orange, it returns 1000, and if it's a purple, it should return 200 because it is not an orange. So you can use the if statements to check data in different workbooks, and it can be really handy when you are dealing with this. So you can use if statement with many other functions like addition, like subtraction, if a cell, like for example, now let's say if now is equals to if now cell C9 has apple, right? Then we do what? Then we take C with sum. Let me just do sum. Yes, sum. Okay, product, sorry. Then we take C9 times. Do you really say C9? No. D10, eh? D10 times 2. Otherwise, return a 0. Let's see. Now the value here is not default, so let's see if it will give us the answer. Okay, not this one. Just a little bit. Let me put them into right. Now this is what it gives us. So we will multiply D10 by 2. Okay, you can use Excel in different Excels with different functions. So that one gives us a function, and that function will help us when we are dealing with you can use it with more than one function. So that's all about functions, and that's all about if statement combined with the functions.